Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's explainer. We are walking through a dedicated strategy guide specifically built for small business owners who are dealing with, honestly, one of the most frustrating problems in digital marketing. You know the drill. You're getting traffic to your website, but that traffic is just not converting into actual inquiries. If you are totally tired of emotionally flat, brochure-style websites and you really want to turn your digital presence into an active lead generator, well, you are in the exact right place. Right off the bat, we need to address the elephant in the room. When the phone isn't ringing or your inbox is just sitting there completely empty, the immediate, mistaken belief almost every business owner has is that they have a traffic problem. They think, oh, I just need to spend way more money on ads, or I gotta post more on social media. But the reality is, if you're already getting visitors, a lack of inquiries is almost never a traffic problem. It's a conversion problem. To fix this, we're going to use this explainer as your actionable conversion playbook. We'll be looking at 5 key areas rapidly today. 1. The traffic myth. 2. Why visitors leave. 3. Clarity over creativity. 4. Trust with evidence. And 5. Winning on mobile. Okay, section 1. The traffic myth. Remember, conversion always has to come first. Pouring more money into ads or boosted posts when your website fundamentally doesn't convert is just a massive, incredibly expensive trap. To understand why this happens, we have to look at how fast people judge your business, and the answer is seconds. Literally, seconds. Research from the Nielsen Norman Group consistently shows that users do not read websites word for word. They scan them. Nobody is opening 10 different tabs hoping to spend an hour painstakingly comparing local businesses. They're making rapid, almost instant judgments about your credibility and relevance before you can even blink.
So the crucial point is this. People are leaving your website, but not because they aren't interested in your services. They leave because your website itself is creating uncertainty. When a visitor arrives looking for reassurance and confidence, but instead they find confusing messaging and a site that looks exactly like every other competitor out there, they just don't feel confident enough to take the next step, so they bounce.
Moving right along to section 2, why visitors actually leave. Spoiler alert, it all comes down to friction and hesitation. We really need to get into the psychology of your website visitor here. Remember, they are rapidly scanning for shortcuts to evaluate risk online. The main culprit disrupting this is friction. Friction is anything on your site that's confusing, overly generic, or just plain difficult to process. You see, the human brain is always trying to conserve energy. When a visitor encounters an unclear headline, a vague sentence, or a messy layout, the brain immediately interprets that cognitive load as a risk. And in the online world, risk equals hesitation. Because they are desperately trying to avoid that mental friction, visitors are subconsciously asking themselves a very specific set of questions the exact second they land on your Heroes section. You know, that very first screen they see before scrolling. They are asking, am I in the right place? Do these people understand what I need? Can I trust them? And what happens next? If your Heroes section is just filled with some vague slogan and an attractive but totally meaningless picture, it fails to answer these questions, and boom, the visitor is gone before you even had a chance to say hello. Section 3, clarity over creativity. Let's talk about why you absolutely must focus on your messaging.
A lot of business owners assume they need stunning design and fancy spinning animations to convert. But focused messaging beats fancy design every single time, and this brilliantly illustrates why. Look at the generic approach. Quality roofing solutions. Okay, technically true, but emotionally completely empty. It doesn't reduce uncertainty at all. Now look at the focused approach. EBCO Roofing Waikato. Roofing, do it once, do it right. Boom. Instant clarity, precise location relevance, and total emotional reassurance. A visitor shouldn't have to play detective and decode your website to figure out if you can help them.
Let me share a fantastic little anecdote from the source material about a Cambridge-based builder. Originally, this business marketed themselves really broadly, just as a quote-unquote general builder. And they were getting a ton of low-quality inquiries, lots of those dreaded tire kickers who were comparing them strictly on price. But their real superpower, it was bespoke historic renovations. By completely shifting their positioning and changing their messaging to focus exclusively on that high-end historic work, they transformed their business. They didn't lose out on work. Instead, the right clients instantly felt like they were in the perfect place. Their lead quality absolutely skyrocketed.
Which brings us to section 4, building trust with evidence. You really have to show, not just tell.
Online trust is so fragile, guys. It is built remarkably quickly, and it is lost just as fast.
Instead of building trust, so many sites accidentally feature what we call trust killers. Relying on generic claims like quality workmanship means absolutely nothing when every single competitor says the exact same thing. Your customers completely ignore those phrases. But what's even worse are the visible killers: spelling mistakes, outdated layouts, or, oh, my personal favorite, those cheesy stock photos of models pretending to be tradesmen. Emotionally, these scream to the visitor, hey, this doesn't feel real, and the moment something feels inauthentic, trust literally drops to zero.
To combat that, you must use trust builders. You have to provide hard evidence. That means using real project photography. Seriously, even if it's just taken on a slightly smudgy smartphone, it is still 1,000,000 times better than a shiny stock photo. Show those before and afters. Put up detailed case studies. Highlight authentic, detailed testimonials from real humans. For service businesses, showing tangible evidence of your actual work dramatically reduces the perceived risk for the visitor. Trust isn't built through claims, it is built through evidence.
All right, Section 5, winning on mobile. This is your primary storefront now.
It's crazy, but too many businesses still treat mobile as an afterthought, like it's just a shrunken, squished version of their desktop site. But for local service businesses today, mobile is your primary storefront. Period. That means you must ruthlessly eliminate friction points on that tiny screen. We are talking about annoying pop-ups that interrupt the user before they even know what you do. Overcrowded menus that require microscopic fingers to tap. Giant wars of text that look like a whole novel on a phone screen. Competing calls to action that just confuse the buyer. All of these mistakes completely overwhelm visitors instead of intentionally guiding them through your site.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the profound difference in strategy here. Many web design agencies basically just build brochure websites. They focus purely on appearance, generic templates, and basic info. Sure, they look fine, but they simply don't perform. Compare that to the approach taken by agencies like DNP Marketing, who focus on conversion websites. These are built from the ground up around strategic positioning, powerful trust signals, a perfectly clear customer journey, and long-term SEO. It is just an entirely different philosophy.
Building a true conversion website requires a really deep, intentional process before a single pixel is even designed. Step 1. You define your business goals and identify your highest margin ideal clients. Step 2. You establish your unique positioning in the market. Step 3. You identify the specific trust barriers your customers are bringing with them. And finally, Step 4. Craft the structure and messaging to overcome those exact barriers. Real growth requires strategy first and design second.
Let's move to and see how this builds all of this strategy into one overarching philosophy. Clarity comes first, conversion comes second, then traffic skills the result. If you take literally nothing else away from this today, write this down somewhere. Stop spending your hard-earned money on ads until your messaging is clear and your website is actually built to convert. Only when you have a well-oiled conversion machine should you turn that traffic tap back on.
So I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to chew on today. Put yourself directly in the shoes of your customer. If a potential client, someone who urgently needs exactly what you do, lands on your website right this very second, are you creating uncertainty or are you creating relief? Do they feel confused or do they feel instantly understood? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Take a hard look at your website today and let's start making those changes.